party on.
Right, it's time.
It's time.
Dude.
I brought notes.
Nice.
Alright.
Do you have an intro yet? Have you thought of an intro?
No.
Dude, welcome to the cast.
Yeah.
Welcome to the...
Welcome to So Earnest. My name is Kaya Allen. I'm going to be your host today.
It's good. This is good.
It's a great start.
Yeah.
Today I have Nathan Baker on the pod for the premiere episode of So Earnest.
That's right.
Now, on So Earnest, I have comics come here, we talk about something that interests them, and we see if maybe it'll interest me too. Nathan, what did you choose?
I chose to talk about professional wrestling, but specifically this guy right here. Ox Baker.
Okay.
The Great Hard Puncher.
Now, what is it about Ox Baker that really allures you?
So, well, for audio listeners, he has pointy eyebrows and mutton chops, and also his last name is Baker, and my last name is Baker, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. So that's where it started. Did you think he
was like your father or something?
I thought he may have been some relative. Turns out, not at all.
No.
Which is not very interesting. This isn't going to be interesting. I'm an uninteresting guy.
It will, because while I was doing my research...
You're so hot right now. For audio listeners, sweaty. Dude, Kai is so mad. Kai is so mad and so sweaty right now. We're in like a fucking boiler room right now. Kaya brought me into this fucking back alleyway, and this is a fire hazard. Shit's insane right now.
Yes.
The fact that this came together is crazy.
Yeah, well, when there's a will... There's a delusion.
There's a way. There's a way. Dude.
And also a way, I suppose.
This is episode 1.
This is episode 1. Not off to a great start.
Not off to a good, but you gotta start somewhere.
We gotta start somewhere.
Dude.
Every journey begins with the first step. You know?
Dude, you're like, this could be like episode 1 of the Joe Rogan podcast. Who was on Joe Rogan for episode 1?
I don't know.
You're kind of like Charlotte's Joe Rogan.
Don't say that to me.
A lot of people say that.
A lot of people say that?
Rumor has it.
Rumor has it.
Yeah. Kind of like Charlotte's Joe Rogan. A lot of people.
Listen, I get Charlotte's Mother Teresa.
No,
not that. No,
not that.
I get Charlotte's dumb bitch.
Yeah. All right. No worries. All right.
So, what I found so interesting, and I didn't really think that this was going to be sort of a side effect of doing this podcast. Oh,
sure.
Fuck. Whatever.
We're falling apart?
Yeah, we're falling apart. The side effect of this is by learning about your interests, I came to learn about you.
Wow.
And for those of you that don't know, I did not grow in a wrestling household. I wasn't, and not to say I wasn't interested in it, but a lot like sports, it seemed like there was too much for me to catch up on. My mom was very much like opinionated about certain things, like she wouldn't let me paint my room orange because she associated with poor people. She wouldn't let me watch wrestling because she said that's quote unquote white shit.
Yeah, it is.
She wouldn't let me go to Denny's. I didn't go to a Denny's until I was like 19 years old because like a waitress said like a mildly racist comment to my mom once.
Damn.
And she's
what
like,
did
no
she
more
say?
Denny's.
Can
I have
we
no
say
idea.
it?
I have no idea. She was just like, just trust me. I didn't like it. You're not going to Denny's.
Trust me, Denny's is racist.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So, I watched a 3-hour pro wrestling documentary. It covered 60 years of WWE history.
Damn.
And it felt like the tip of the iceberg.
Oh, it totally is. Yeah,
and,
WWE itself is just.
It went through all the different changes and I can't keep all the acronyms together.
Did we go to the territories? You know of the territories?
Yes.
All right, cool.
So we went into that, but let's talk specifically about you. And you wanted to focus on Ox Baker, and particularly the fight between him and Ernie Ladd, and the subsequent Cleveland riot that pursued because of that.
Yes.
Now,
this is sweet, dude.
Let's talk about Ox Baker a little bit more. He was born as Douglas A. Baker.
Just A. Baker? Not the.
No.
Just A.
A. Baker.
A. Baker. Okay.
1934.
Right.
Okay.
Good year.
Means he's older than my grandma, or was. He died.
Know what happened that year?
In 1934?
Right.
No, I have no idea.
Ox Baker was born.
Yeah. April 10th. April 19th.
You got, cameraman, did you get this? Dude, someone just fucking came out of this closet behind me.
From Missouri.
And eventually someone's gonna come out with just like a cheese wire and just like fucking strangle me. I have to be worried about that the whole time that this is happening.
His
But
signature move
Right.
was the heart punch.
This is true, the great heart puncher.
Now, he didn't kill 2 people, but he definitely, they died after getting punched multiple times in the chest by this very large man. And he, of course, being a heel, which is a term that I learned, being a heel really played this up.
Yes.
And I thought it was so hilarious that him and Ernie Ladd, and I guess wrestlers overall, essentially just assault announcers for the thrill of entertainment.
It's pretty cool.
Now, while watching these gentlemen talk to the audience, announcers, whoever is in their path, it did remind me a lot of you,
Right.
to be honest. And your comedy style is very, what's the word?
Who
Not
knows?
energetic.
A lot of showmanship.
Yeah, very performance.
I'm basically cutting a promo the whole time I'm on stage.
Exactly.
Pretty
And that is really what it feels like. It feels
Yeah.
like you're selling us a persona.
Yeah.
But for you, it is not so much of a persona as I think it is. The reins have finally been turned over, and you are, barreling into whatever your personality is.
Checks notes, barreling. Yeah, dude. You know what I like about Ox Baker's promos? Dude, this is something cool about Ox. I've watched there's a few clips of him. I like that this is like a signature. The people on audio have to describe the video. That right there.
Yeah.
He claps his hands and then just kind of rolls his fists around while he's looking into the camera.
It's aggressive.
Not even really rubbing like a villain. He's more
And they thought
doing
Trump's
this.
handshake was
No,
aggressive.
this is a lot, dude. The Trump shake. That's another level.
The Trump shake.
Let's get into the Trump
Let's-
shake. No.
Wait, we're not done.
No.
Okay, we have to talk about Ernie Ladd, aka the Big Cat.
Yeah,
Okay, so he's black.
that's what people say.
Yeah, and so this was kind of a really fraught time for black people, the early 1970s when this happened.
Yes.
I wanted to sort of understand why things happened the way they did in the Cleveland riot. Part of it is, of course, they were both heels and they were playing off of that, and him getting multiply punched in the heart really incited a riot. But let's talk about what was happening that year, okay? So previously, 1973,
Holy
the
shit.
fight was in August 1st, 1974, okay?
Okay.
So in 1973, Roe v. Wade, we get
Holy
abortion,
shit.
okay?
And that's what's gonna lead to this. Oh, wow. What up?
1973, the Vietnam War ends.
Holy shit.
Hip hop forms.
Which all the white people are mad. They're
Yes,
steaming.
They're very. I mean, but
Dude.
it's the point is that black people were getting a voice, right?
Right.
And this was happening in multiple ways. And then also an Israel versus Egypt ceasefire, brokered by us, as always.
Nice. Us being me and you. Or
Yeah, no, us, you and me.
We're actually as old as time.
Now, let's get to the year 1974.
Holy shit.
Muhammad Ali versus George Foreman.
Dude.
Pivotal.
How'd that
Okay.
go? Sorry, I had to make sure that. Fuck. we're
It's
fine.
okay. Waterloo by ABBA came out. And and then this fight happens August 1st. 8 days
Holy
later,
Fucking shit.
8 days later, Nixon resigns. Do you think there's a correlation?
I mean, I honestly, maybe it's possible,
Yeah.
dude. I gotta say that the hip hop correlation with the big cat becoming a good guy
Yeah.
is pretty cool. Because I think what's so cool about him, this is I didn't do any research recently, so. But what's cool about him, to me, was that he was a bad guy for a long time. He was a heel, and he was just so good at shitting on people that people were like, "Ah, this guy's kind of cool," and they started coming around on him. And then it was hard to hate him anyways because he was a former Chargers player, so he played not the NFL, I think it was the AFL at the time. But it's this guy was a great defensive player. I think historically one of the best linemen ever was Ernie Ladd. So people fucking loved the guy.
Right.
Then he played a bad guy. Then all this shit's happening in culture. He switches to a good guy, and there's just this guy out there. Who
So would you say he was the original OJ?
A lot of people would say that.
Okay.
A lot of people, not me particularly, but people say that.
Let's talk about wrestling overall.
Right.
I had to learn a lot. I've talked to a lot of people. People are very passionate about wrestling.
Yes.
And what I've always found really interesting about it, because it spans over 60 years, people they grew up with it, right? They have, if you ask anybody, hey, what does wrestling mean to you? And I did ask multiple people, what does wrestling mean to you? They'd be like, oh man, it reminds me of this with my dad and da 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 da. Never had that. A dad, I mean. So, I'm almost glad I didn't, because then I wouldn't have had these fantastic father figures.
Right.
So, we're starting with 1973.
Okay.
The legendary match between Bruno Sammartino.
You did so much research and that's so funny.
And then Stan Hansen.
Right.
Where Sammartino's neck was legitimately broken.
Brother, he's gonna come through here.
Hey, man.
Yeah, nah, come on through.
Yeah, just
homie.
come on
We'll have
through.
to lift some wires or something.
Yeah. No, you're
Nah,
fine.
dude, go for it. This is part of the ambiance.
Experience. Yeah.
Yeah. Going to the janitor's club.
So Sammartino's neck is legitimately broken. You want to give me that code?
No.
maybe later. We could go in there. That's where we're doing podcasting from the janitor's closet by Royal Todd.
Yes.
So I want you to look at Mr. Sammartino here, and then Mr. Chris Henson there.
Right. Notice anything?
Noticing anything?
Well, so this was pre-steroids, so
Right.
They were just
One of them
big
is
dudes.
significantly hotter than the other one, though.
Is this true? I don't know if that's true. Maybe you just have a preference
No.
between.
No. So Bruno Sammartino.
Which one's hotter, Kyle?
Bruno, obviously.
Why? Why is it Bruno?
He's hairy and he doesn't make me uncomfortable.
But Stan.
It's the cowboy hat plus the.
Dude.
It's the cowboy hat plus the robe that makes me really uncomfortable.
Yeah. No,
he looks like a boy and that is dressed up.
Yes.
Whereas Bruno
That's a
looks
man.
like a man.
But what if I told you that Bruno was like 5'7"?
I would believe it because of the legs.
He's a little fellow.
But he held on to a title for a very long time before his fucking neck was broken.
Real shit.
Okay? What I like about this is that it reveals the level of dedication. It reveals the level of dedication by these very dramatic men that his neck had to be legitimately broken before he's like, all right, I'll take a break.
Yeah, man.
Okay? Flash forward to 1978. Okay.
These are hard men. These
Hard
guys,
men.
These guys are hard.
This fucking guy,
The man.
Harley Race,
The man, Harley Race.
wins the NWA World Heavyweight Championship.
Worlds.
Well, now, World Heavyweight Champion from Terry Funk, who is arguably hotter.
Yeah, Terry Funk's that's pretty fast. You know he died recently? Very
I
sad.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Apparently, he brought Texas with him wherever he went.
That's what they say.
That is what they say. Moving on.
Dude, we're just flying through time right now.
we're 15 minutes in.
We're encapsulating all of wrestling. That's so funny. All right.
Now,
What
the
happened
1980s.
next? All right.
Big time for wrestling.
Huge
Time. Now, my experience with Hulk Hogan is the withered man that is now, right? But I've been looking at a lot of pictures of Hulk Hogan recently, and he could get it.
Yeah, back then,
He could
dude,
get it.
he could get it. And then you're saying that all you know him from is the one video.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Hulk Hogan defeats the Iron Sheik
The Iron Sheik is.
to win his first WWF championship, kicking off the Hulkamania era. Now, this is pivotal because this is around the time during the Arab Autumn. Okay?
Wow, what is that?
Things were, hey guys, things haven't always been great in the Middle East.
Oh man, but they're better now though, yes?
They are not. So,
The devil's closing up shop next door.
So Hulk, who I would argue is the most American that it's ever American,
Yeah, you know his theme
beat
song.
a Middle Eastern figure.
Right.
Okay. 1985. This is 1 year later.
Right.
Hulk Hogan, Mr. T.
No.
That's right, the Mr. T. Go against Roddy Piper and Paul Orndorff. Now, Mr. T,
Uh-huh.
very hot.
Right, a lot of you could
This
say-
guy, kind of hot. But then I found out about the kilt,
Wearing a
and
kilt.
then I was like, that really sold me as to
Big
being
Piper
hot.
guy.
Yeah, being hot. 1987.
Okay.
WrestleMania 3, featuring Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant in front of a record-setting crowd.
Yes.
Thoughts on Andre the Giant?
Oh, dude, you should watch his documentary. I think it was like is it 30 from 30?
I don't care about the French.
Dude, well, let me tell you, this guy, he's on another level. And I think he lived in this area too. Anyways, there's a lot of cool shit with Mr. Andre. And as far as like wrestling history too, it's like he was kind of one of the guys that was like the first like really big deal. Like he was a big deal everywhere because he just traveled from territory to territory being the guy. And so this fight like between him and Hulk Hogan is like huge because the biggest WWE guy versus like the biggest both physically but also just guy. And
Well,
yeah.
see, I like this time because everything was still so separated, and so no, I'm not.
Right.
Was still so separated, and so like you could have one mega head go against another mega head,
Sure.
and it really be like generate some interest, right? Instead of it all being under the same branch, a monopoly under the same branch, and you know, I would say that it is severely deteriorated from the 80s.
Yes, everything, but also yes.
But also wrestling.
Wrestling a lot. Yeah.
Because my impression of wrestling was that this is fake. It's no different than a circus, right?
Sure.
With maybe a little bit less talent. Now, after I saw,
Okay.
but after I saw much video and much documentation to tell me the contrary, I've since changed my opinion.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm pro wrestling.
Do you know pro wrestling started in the circus?
I believe it.
It was a circus act. It was like strongmen. They would just wrestle people who were in the crowd. They'd be like, "I'll wrestle you," and then
Well, wrestling's, I mean, it's a long and arduous journey.
pretty cool.
From Romans to John Cena.
Yeah. First, the Romans were doing it naked. What do you think about that? Where's that?
Love
rank?
it.
That's cool.
More
for you.
of it.
So then you go to the future, and now it's just some random dude wrestling a
Wearing
farmer
spandex.
for
you
like
know?
hours.
I love it. So then we get to 1989, the year of my birth.
Wow.
The first WWF SummerSlam event, with the main event of Hulk Hogan and Brutus Beefcake versus Randy Savage and Zeus. Now Zeus, I didn't know, was the guy from Friday.
He sure is.
And that whole weird eye thing he's been doing, that's
Yeah.
like his thing.
Yes.
He's not actually cross-eyed. I learned that when I saw
What?
him in The Fifth Element, yes.
Whoa, I thought the whole time that he just does that?
Yeah. It's just
Okay.
a fun little trick, a hidden talent. I
Wow.
imagine when they're like, hey, you're big as shit and black.
Yeah. And he's like, Jesus out.
What other talents do you have? And he's like, well, I can do this weird thing with my eyes.
Dude,
Love it.
sold. And then you're in Friday. That's how we got to do it.
Exactly. Now, Randy Savage is another one that can get it.
Yeah,
Okay?
sure.
He's a little weirdo, but I like him the same way I liked, who's the guy that got married in the dress? A basketball player.
No
He's
idea,
really
dude.
He's friends with that guy from North Korea, the president.
Oh, shit. Dennis Rodman.
Dennis Rodman.
Right.
I think like Randy Savage is the Dennis Rodman of
Wow.
WWE.
I mean, and I can't refute that, really. I think that's a good
You can't.
point.
You can't.
You like his voice? What do you think about the voice? And do you have an impression?
I can work with the voice.
Voice is cool.
I can work with the voice. I wouldn't say it's cool, but it is. I
What are
would
you
say
saying,
that I would say that it is unique, and I would say that if he called me, I would know who it
Yeah.
was.
Yo, bitch. I'm trying to get in your pants.
Would work.
Yeah, that's
Okay?
it. That does it.
That does.
Okay.
And I like the confidence.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I found is really the most alluring. It's not necessarily these men's size, but it's their confidence.
Right. I like that. I like that you found your own thing that you find cool about wrestling, which is just you're like.
It's just how
I like
fuckable
how
wrestlers are.
fuckable these guys are. You're like, Nathan, let's talk about the history of how fuckable these guys get over time. Because over time, it does increase. I mean, it does.
Our current champion is a sweet piece of ass. His nose has increased in size over the years from getting punched in it, but when he started out, oh, he's a beautiful black stallion.
Who is this?
I don't remember his name,
Let's go.
but he looks wet all the time, and I'm into that.
Okay.
All right. 1992, Ric Flair.
That's right.
He
The
gives
man.
me the ick.
The man.
He gives me the ick.
No, Ric Flair's
Look at
the
this.
guy.
You imagine, look, he comes,
Dude.
he walks out, answers the door, dick out. In
Ric
a row.
Flair, you know that he does. Yeah, he does that.
Does he really?
He does that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I mean,
He looks like someone that
dude,
would.
Apparently, this is rumor has it. Ric Flair, hog, dude, fucking whopper on him.
He
and
acts
then
like he does.
there's like the plane ride from hell is a thing where it's like he got in trouble for like he would do this his kind of like strut out and then lift up his arms and like kind of unveil the robe. That's his entrance. And then sometimes in the locker room, just to fuck with the guys, he would do that, but have his dong out. And on this plane ride, he did that, kind of revealing himself to some stewardesses and was doing the helicopter. It's a whole thing. Dark side of the ring.
It's okay.
He lived
Around this time, they were getting into a bit of a sticky wicket with steroids.
Right.
And it severely damaged the overall reputation of pro wrestling.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, the point from earlier of like, the attractiveness of these wrestlers increasing over time was due to drug use.
Right.
So that was what you were praising drug use. So maybe you should reconsider that.
Indeed.
But also, how do I feel about it? Dude, let him take it, man. What are we doing?
How do you feel about Owen Hart?
I never really watched him growing up.
Right.
Because I wasn't alive yet.
Public tragedy? Or,
But it was
or
that...
Justified?
Yeah. Public tragedy for sure. Dude. Yeah,
Cool.
it is.
Just want to make
messed
sure where you
up.
stand.
Dude, a guy dying in the ring and then like the show continuing afterwards, and like
Brutal.
all of his friends, they're all friends, and they're like,
Yeah.
dude, my friend just died right in front of me.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy.
I tell you.
Dude, that's a guy right there. We're flipping right past Stone Cold.
No, I'm not. Let's talk about Vince.
Vince.
I would cross the mafia 10 times over before I ever crossed him.
Is this so?
100%.
Vince McMahon, what is it that he likes? Did he like getting pooped on? Was that what happened? Or he wanted to poop on a girl?
No? Is that a thing that happened?
Dude,
I wouldn't be surprised. The
Well,
man has no
well,
limit, no ceiling.
The cancellation happened recently. With Vince, dude.
Well, that's why he's been. Oh yeah, there was
Yeah.
a couple things that came out recently. That was also in the documentary. It went up to 2022, which is really good, all things considered. 1998, the Hell in the Cell
Right.
match between The Undertaker and Mankind.
I love that we're just zipping through. We're like, let's talk about Vince McMahon. I'm like, he shits on women, right? And then you're like, 1998. Hell in the Cell. Let's go. Okay.
Mankind infamously falls from the top of the cell.
Yes.
Now, Mankind seemed like someone that would really resonate with you. Is that true?
Dude, I'm a big Mankind guy.
You
Bigger
got-
Undertaker guy, though.
You got like a Mankind energy, but like smaller.
Yeah. Right, small Mankind.
Small Mankind.
Yeah.
Mankind Jr.
Right, you could say.
Yeah. The Undertaker, he can also get it. And I'm not really... I'm not a huge fan of hats.
Yeah.
Not a huge fan
Don't
of hats.
like it, but he takes it off while he gets in the ring.
That's all that
you know,
matters
so-
is that he takes it off,
Nice.
baby.
Okay.
All right, let's get into the 2000s.
Yeah.
Anything you want to mention about the 80s and 90s before we proceed? Or we can just do a general overview and then we'll come back.
Dude, let's come back. Let's
Let's come back. All right, so 2001,
Right.
WrestleMania X7,
That's right.
okay? Or 17.
Some people, but X7, why not?
They put the X in there, I'm going to use it. All right, often considered one of the greatest wrestling events featuring The Rock,
Yeah.
Dwayne, and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Right.
Now, this is during a time where they're both considered heels, no? Or has this been before The Rock has turned heel?
Dude, I don't remember the exact lore on that.
Right.
But this is fucking sweet. This is one of the sweetest things that's ever happened.
Oh yeah.
And then it happens again.
Now, this is also a really important year because 9/11, but
Right.
also
Big deal. Big deal.
big deal.
Yeah.
The country needed this.
Right.
Okay.
They needed this to happen.
They needed this to happen.
Yeah. Vince was like, the towers have fallen. What are we gonna do? Rock, Dwayne, and Stone Cold in the same. What I like about them is that they both have like a rock in their name.
Indeed.
One's Stone Cold, one's The Rock.
Different sides of the
Dwayne.
fence.
Dude.
You know?
Come on through.
You need to come through here? Yeah, come on, just watch Mind the Wires. Thank you. Thanks. Okay. But this is also during a really pivotal point in WWE history where they've decided to move from the less sensational aspects to become more PG-13. These men, they want deals, they want to become toys, they want people wearing their fucking face masks or whatever, okay? And I would say the beginning of the end, personally.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the sort of washed down version that we have now, or do you think it's just a sign of the times?
I think right now, what we have right now
it's fine.
Seems to be kind of coming out of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the early 2000s, this is when I started watching it, so it's kind of like the come down from the Attitude Era, which is like the ruthless aggression era.
Right, miscarriages on stage.
Right, just wild stuff like that. We're right after people like, Val Venus, who was like a porn star wrestler, and at one point gets his like penis chopped off by like a samurai sword, It's like we're right after that, and then we're leading into the ruthless aggression era.
Hi.
Sweet. Let's go.
All right. 2002. The WWE draft.
This is so funny. This is really funny. Good. Like just the whole lead up to this happening, and then where we're at right now, and the fact that fucking people are coming out of there, people are going in there. I didn't even see him come out of that closet. Then this guy's walking by. It's hilarious.
Yeah, no,
this is funny.
Good. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself.
Yes. Dude, just fucking pipes and wires everywhere.
2004.
Right.
Eddie Guerrero.
Yes.
He wins the WWE Championship at No Way Out, defeating Brock Lesnar.
Right.
Now, Brock is an interesting character because people sort of go back and forth between whether they like him or not because he doesn't seem to be really committed to really being a part of this. What are your thoughts?
Brock Lesnar.
Would you like to see a picture of him?
Right.
Look at those fucking shoulders.
He's cool. I don't think
Guerrero, no spice. Considering the last name, zero
like
spice.
Don't like him. No, I like Guerrero. But
I mean, he seems like a lovely man.
With Lesnar, it's like I think if you watch like interviews with him, like he really defends wrestling, and yeah, he wasn't committed to it. He cares about money, but it's like most wrestlers back in that era were like, we're about getting a paycheck, and that's kind of just what he was. And it's like he could make more money being like the UFC champion, and then he comes back, and it's like now he's even bigger because he's like a legit
He's
guy.
able to sort of go across different markets.
So he's cool, and he also pisses on women. We've learned that.
Right.
Unfortunately,
I didn't get an opportunity to watch a documentary on the role of women in WWE.
Dude.
But I can tell you right now, it doesn't seem that great.
No, it's not.
Not
great.
until like the last 4 years.
Yeah, very recently. Yes.
All right, 2005, WrestleMania 21.
When Eddie wins the WWE Championship, I think.
Didn't he break something or die?
He dies.
Yes.
But also, so him and Chris Benoit are very good friends. We may talk about, is Chris Benoit later on? It may be. But Chris and him are friends, and they both won world titles that night. So there's like this crazy picture of like them and confetti like hugging, and they both got the championships. And then like a couple years later, they're both gone.
Dang.
Yeah.
So there was this little weirdo that Eddie Guerrero used to hang out with that used to wear a luchador mask.
Right.
And then rumor has it he took off the luchador mask and he was ugly as a shoe.
You talking about Rey Mysterio? Dude?
Yes, I am.
Dude, first of all, Rey Mysterio is the man. Don't talk shit on Rey Mysterio. And did you even look at pictures of him with the mask off, dude?
I don't need to.
No, look at pictures
because
of
I
him
prefer
with
him with the mask off.
Dude, mask off? He's a cute little boy, dude. He took the mask off and you're like, dude, is this guy like fucking 16? That's what you thought. Rey Mysterio is the shit, the guy. Don't talk shit on Rey.
I'm convinced that the hottest man that's ever existed in wrestling is Sting.
We just kind of skipped over and peaked Sting now.
I don't care. I just wanted to be known.
Yeah, it was Sting.
For your information.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Yes, I watched The Crow like a million times, but that has nothing to do with it. 2005, WrestleMania 21 features Batista.
Right.
Everyone knows he's been in Guardians of the Galaxy, and John Cena, who's been in other things. Both won their respective championship matches. How do you feel about Batista and about John Cena?
Batista, dog, liked him a lot. there was this cool thing that happened when I was a kid that I remember vaguely of like him and Rey Mysterio being like a tag team for a while. Like that. That was cool.
I would also enjoy a tag team.
John, you gotta stop.
I'm sorry.
John Cena. I never really liked him. I don't know. I never liked him when I was a kid.
Listen. There's a certain amount. There's a fine line I've noticed between performance quality and desperation.
Sure.
And his leans more towards the desperation for me.
What do you mean by this?
I mean, he seems like he's searching for something.
Right.
Like
he seems lost in his eyes.
He does seem lost.
Yeah.
Like a lost lad.
Dude, yeah, it sucks for him.
Whereas Batista with those thighs, there's
He
no
can't
way
get
he
lost.
He can't get lost waiting for him.
Dude, he can just jump really high and see where he needs to go.
Now, the 2010s. CM Punk.
Right.
Kind of a douchebag.
Loved him.
Did you?
Really liked him.
How do you feel about the pipe bomb promo?
That is one of the coolest things that's happened in modern wrestling.
I feel like you would say that.
Yes.
Let's see here. Undertaker loses to Brock Lesnar.
What do you think about the pipe bomb promo? What did you? Because you think you didn't like it. People loved CM Punk. CM Punk was a shit. So if you were a kid watching him, you hated him, but that was the point because he was a bad guy. And then it's like as you get older, you're like, oh, this guy.
I guess that's
really
kind
cool.
of where it comes down to.
Yes.
That he was a little guy.
Yeah, he wasn't very big.
No, which is admirable. To be as large as a woman.
I feel like you were just like, you don't like CM Punk because you're like, I wouldn't fuck this guy. You're like, I wouldn't fuck this guy, so he's bad at wrestling. Good wrestlers are guys that kind of wants to fuck.
All right. Let's talk about bitches.
Okay.
Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
Charlotte Flair.
Pretty
Ronda
cool.
Rousey.
What do you think about Charlotte Flair? Does she give you the ick like how her dad does?
Kinda, yeah.
Dude.
But I like Ronda.
Yeah.
Ronda's a bad bitch.
Gotta love Ronda Rousey. Becky Lynch, everybody loves Becky.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. That,
How do you feel about the move from being, what is it called? What do they call them? Dames? To
it was divas.
Divas.
Right.
How do you feel about the move of them being divas to be considered like legitimate wrestlers?
I think that's really cool, and I support that entirely. But also, yeah, the diva thing was just fucking kind of weird, dude.
Yeah.
It was like, I don't know. Like when you look back on it, you're like, this is fucking creepy.
It very much, especially in those early days, really solidified the fact that this was an industry made by men.
Yes.
Like it felt very much like a 12-year-old boy's wet dream, you
Right.
know? Which I get why there's that appeal,
So many
right?
12-year-old boys
So
are
many of us are looking for our tween self, and that's nice. Then there was WrestleMania 36 in 2020.
Right.
The first time that they had to perform without a live audience. Cringe?
Big cringe, dude. Wrestling happening without an audience is cringe. Like imagine doing stand-up and
Yeah.
there's no one in the room. Like imagine an open mic. Imagine doing an open mic and there's just no one there. It sucks. It's terrible.
I don't have to imagine it. I've been there.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no. Every day. The grind. Dude, that's the overview. We did it.
That is the overview.
Wow.
Is there anything in particular that you would like to come back to?
Dude, we covered wrestling. That's crazy. That's so funny. I think, I can't think of her name right now off the top of my head since we're covering female wrestlers, but there was a lady wrestler like back in the day.
We're not Black China.
No, not Black China.
China.
So, but no. Before that, it was like she was a female wrestler. And she was like a champ for a really long time. Anyway, we can talk about it later. But if you looked into her, you'd be interested in her.
Oh yeah, no.
She was like head catty bitch,
right?
And she ran all of the women's championships. Like she was hurting
And
girls and like getting them like kind of just because she was like.
Well, I remember her on Flavor of Love.
She was like champion. She was champion for like 14 years or some shit. Where it's like she just dominated. And it was just like politically, she was just stopping everybody.
She was on
so
top.
Like the cattiest bitch of all time. That was her.
Nice.
It's pretty crazy.
What do you think Ox Baker's legacy will be cemented as?
I think it is. He's a really goofy looking guy.
Yeah. Silly goose.
And synonymous with the heart punch. What is his legacy right now?
Yeah.
Honestly, almost non-existent.
Yeah. Everyone I asked about him did not know.
No
who he
one
was.
knows who this guy is. But if you look into it, then you're like, it's pretty funny. So hopefully, eventually, Ox Baker will be known as the guy that Nathan Baker has a bit about.
Fantastic.
Yes.
And that's your ultimate goal.
That's my ultimate goal in comedy. Is
Period.
I want to. Yes. I want to be. I want to have a bit.
I'm gonna make this fucking guy famous.
Yeah, I want to make this guy really famous. That was kind
intravenously through me.
Yeah, this whole plan, this whole thing was just kind of, I was like, dude, I can't wait to get on the cast so that I can someone shitting in there. Dude, this is what's happening. Are we in a bathroom right now? This is crazy. Holy shit. Yes, I want to make Ox Baker famous.
Good.
Dude, the heart punch is hilarious. All the videos of it are so funny.
What are 3 things that people can take away from pro wrestling that might help with them becoming good performers overall?
Right.
Maybe even comics.
Maybe one day they could be comics. Here's something I think is cool that as far as, I'm still new enough in comedy where I don't really feel comfortable like giving advice or whatever, But something that older comics who are into wrestling have said is that it's like caring about little details in your performance and kind of like just make everything, you're trying to like sap as much out of your time on stage as possible. And it's something that a lot of wrestlers will talk about where it's like make the most of your minutes off of TV. So if you're doing a promo or anything, you're like, I'm trying to maximize the time that they get to see me and I want to like really use it. So not being very wasteful of time and like going on stage and like scrolling through your notes or like opening up a notebook or whatever and reading it. It's like just I want to maximize this time that I have. Not that those things are bad,
no.
but it's like that's something that you can take away. And then like from a performance aspect, it's like the same thing. I think like recently I started doing this thing where like when I take the mics out of the stand, I'll like try to do it like I'm pulling a samurai sword out, and it's like I'm doing that as a wrestling thing. It's like if I can get a laugh when I pull the mic out of the stand.
So more physical humor.
Physical humor too, your act outs. There's a lot. I think there's a lot that you can learn from wrestling. There's a lot of overlap with like wrestling and just other art forms. Like I think not, but yes.
All right, Trump. Let's talk about it.
Love him.
Okay.
No. No. That's a lie.
No. My experience with him was purely off of The Apprentice, and that's not a show I watch.
Yeah.
But after watching this documentary, I realized that, and watching Pose, I learned that he was an integral part of the American zeitgeist.
Right.
Okay. Do you think that is the reason why his claws have sunken in so deeply into our society? Because
he was sweet on wrestling?
Yeah.
Yes.
He, the billionaire versus billionaire thing.
Yeah, and that everybody was they were both billionaires, but he was the good guy, and then he beat the shit out of Vince McMahon, and then he shaved Vince's head, so he really just got over crazy. I think the whole reason that he won the presidency is because Vince McMahon got him over.
Yeah.
And over is a term that you may have learned.
Yeah, I did.
Right.
But why don't you tell us?
Okay, well, I guess how can I define over? So being over is like, everyone kind of just really digs your shit is, I guess, the like simplest way of putting that. And, to put someone over means like I'm going to have them like beat me, I'm going to have them do something dirty to me that's going to like, I'm going to have them fuck me, no, I'm going to have them do something bad to me that like puts me underneath them so they're going over me, and then it's like kind of shows the audience like, it's like, oh, this is the guy. And Vince McMahon put Trump over, and then Trump never got his comeuppance or anything. He was just over. So in wrestling terms, he's the guy. Every WWE viewer voted for Trump.
How many of these wrestlers do you think have been to Epstein's Island?
Oh man, probably like just The Rock.
Yeah, and Vince. Obviously, yeah. How do you feel about those years where Vince McMahon was wrestling?
I don't think, by the way, about the Epstein thing, I don't think any of them were on the flight logs, which was really shocking. Because, of a guy, of people you would think would be on there, you're like, Vince, definitely, top of the list.
But I suppose you don't need an island.
Yeah, and also you maybe
when
don't
you're
even
working
need
for the Saudis.
Things have not always been great in the Middle East. Yeah. No, but Vince, and also you probably don't need to be on Epstein's private jet when you have your own private jet.
Right,
But
exactly.
yeah, I'm not saying. I mean, but
Only bitches go on other people's private jets.
right. And Vince McMahon's no
And
bitch.
John Cena ain't no bitch.
Vince McMahon flew over there and shit on people, and that's my headcanon, but that's alleged, and I'm just
Listen,
saying.
I find it hard to believe that a man who has done the most, if you open the dictionary to the most, it's going to be a picture of Vince McMahon,
Yes.
tanned and
So tanned.
weirdly buff for his age.
Yeah, probably
okay?
that picture of him like with a chain over his head
Exactly.
or whatever. One of those.
And it's going to be just Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
The depths that he has gone to make this thing move with the times and everything is admirable. Almost sinister.
Almost evil.
Almost.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you think would improve things more so than in the direction they're already going? So like having the all women's bouts, that's really cool, and like women having, I would even say that UFC is not really a competition. It almost enhances it somehow. Or do
Yeah.
you consider UFC to be like a viable option for people that are wanting to get away from pro wrestling?
Well, so recently, WWE was purchased by UFC's like parent company, and so
Right.
now they're kind of, I forget what the term is, but
Cousins.
no, well, now well, I guess they've kind of like been joined into one company now.
Right.
But yeah, I think I don't know if UFC is necessarily a way to get away from wrestling, because it's a totally different thing. But
Different by just simply the production aspect of it, or?
well, I mean, it's one of them is like a real sport where people are actually fighting, and then the other one is like this predetermined thing. I mean, you have to be an
Do you think it's predetermined?
Wrestling is predetermined, yes. Yes.
It seems as though it's always sort of up in the air, but is that just them sort of playing it up?
Yeah, they're playing it up.
Interesting.
They're playing it up.
So you
super
think
hard.
there's like all these like back alley, backroom deals, or
No,
they're like, okay, so you're gonna come out this time, and then I'm gonna come out
Yeah,
this time,
yeah, yeah.
and then I'm gonna hit you, and then you're gonna hit me back, and then I'm gonna
Well,
throw
so
you from a cage.
it didn't used to be that way. It used to
Well,
be
no,
like,
now it has to be that
well,
way.
I guess
the team thing.
the as far as I'm saying, like scripting out the fights entirely.
Right.
That's how things are now. That's just what like wrestlers have started doing. But I mean, back in like the Undertaker's like heyday or whatever, a lot of times people would just call it in the ring. They just be like, we're in the ring. We're just like we're wrestling. But there is a guy, and the guy in that case for WWE would be like Vince, who's like, I want this person to win this match because if they win this match, that means they're better than them. So that puts them in a position to fight the champion.
Complete
and
control.
then we have so he has total control over everything that's happening. So the booker of any company would have total control. So the thing that would fix wrestling right now is if Jim Cornette was the booker of WWE. That's what I think. If you don't know who that is,
No, I
but
don't.
he's the man.
Who is that?
Jim Cornette was a manager in like the 80s-ish era up until a little early 90s.
Would he happen to be this guy dressed up in Egyptian garb?
No, but that's what he would do. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what he would do. So Jim was like, he would manage these tag teams, and he was basically like, if you're a wrestler that's like has this awesome physique and you're really talented, but you're not good at talking, you're kind of maybe a little bit of a dumbass, then what can you do? You can give them a manager that talks for them, and it's like, my guy's gonna beat the shit out of you or whatever. And so he would do
pimp.
that. Yes, basically a pimp, and he would dress like a pimp.
Yeah.
So that was what Jim Cornette would do, and then he later became like a kind of an executive inside of WWE, and during like the Attitude Era, he was helping Vince book wrestling for a little while there. But
So he would be like one of the guys dressed up in like an Iraqi military uniform or something.
right, yeah, that's it.
Got it.
Yeah, yes, but he's the man. So that guy is very, very good, and he has a podcast that I listen to because I'm a huge fan of Jim Cornette. Yeah.
Is there anything you would like to plug before we go?
Oh, it's closing time.
You think so? Or if there's more you want to talk about, we can talk
No,
about
I think this is time.
I think it is time.
It's time. Wow. What would I like to plug? Listen, guys. I bomb at open mics every day. And then I go home and I go to sleep and I go to work and I bomb at work. And then I go to open mics and occasionally I have shows. And if you want to find out about those shows where I bomb, you can follow me and then just bleep it out, and then they'll be like, oh, it's all mysterious. And then they like link it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did recently have a special showcase show for your
Right.
birthday called
Whatever
Did
that is.
Flower a Rat?
Right.
Can we find that on YouTube or?
I don't know if I'm going to post it yet. We're still deciding it. And I wouldn't say it's a special. It's a video of me doing comedy for a long
You
time.
did 30 minutes, yeah.
Right. It's a 30-minute video.
A 30-minute show of
Yes.
your greatest hits.
Right. 30-minute video of me doing comedy. Right.
You don't want to use the term special. Why?
Right.
Was it not special to you?
No, it's not special to me.
Wow.
Just another night. Because I go to open mics and
None of it was special. Remember that. Hammy?
Yeah, Hammy.
Hank Silver?
All of you
Caleb?
guys are cringe.
Mira?
Yeah, it's
Not
all
special.
fun. Not special. Not to me. No, I would not call it special. Because I probably won't release it. It'll probably just be a video that I have.
That's tragedy.
Yes.
Caleb did so good.
I did crush, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a fun show. Yes. Caleb did crush.
He did. He did
Yeah.
really well. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming. And
Maybe if they waited this long, can we say something like catty about like a comic or something? So that way
Sure.
we'll know who watched it based on
just
what.
at the very end.
Right. So what do we say?
Oh, Austin Sabai has at least 2 specials. Is this not a special for you?
Yeah, no, I'm not. It's not special to me.
He's on his sophomore album.
Dude, and this one goes out. Austin Sabai, I'm talking to you. Fuck you, Austin Sabai. Nobody cares. All right, that's a cool
No,
promo.
but really, you're doing really well. And we wish
No,
you
no,
the
no,
best.
no, no, no. Fuck you, Austin, dude. He'll get it.
Okay.
Austin likes wrestling.
I believe it.
Yeah.
What do you think he likes about it?
All the things that I like about it. I like Austin a lot. That was a liar. All right.
Is there anything else you want to say,
Just to
you little
sign
catty
out.
bitch?
No, I got nothing.
All right. Thank you so much for coming to So Earnest, Nathan.
But we'll know if Austin watched it. now.
We will know.
Right.
Thanks. Bye.